Gary Glitter's secret son pictured for first time at home in Cuba Daily Record. The pervert's love child son, Gary Pantoja Sosa, receives money from his pedophile father from behind bars. Strolling along in fashionable clothes and carrying a skateboard, the Cuban teen sticks out on Havana's poverty-stricken streets. Pictured for the first time, this is unemployed the 18-year-old love child of depraved. And despite his namesake father serving 16 years for a sickening catalog of crimes, he still grants him the benefit of being a pop star's child by bankrolling his lifestyle. Glitter U real name Paul Francis Gatt U was a frequent visitor to the Caribbean island, then in the 90s. Gary, the result of a relationship with former farm girl Eudania Sosa Martinez, was born in February 2001. He has never met his disgraced dad, who was forced to flee Cuba before his birth when Fidel Castro's regime began. But the monster kept in touch and even behind bars has made sure Gary and his mum are taken care of. Asked about Glitter's involvement in his life, Gary said, "I am in communication with my father, but it's a difficult subject for me and I am not allowed to talk about it. Everything is going well with my life, but I am not working or studying at the moment." Glitter, 74, whose hits include "I Am the Leader of the Gang" and "Do You Wanna Touch Me," gave Eudania $20,000 a fortune in communist Cuba in 1998 to buy the flat she still lives in Indiana with Gary and a younger daughter from another relationship. And neighbors say the shamed star, believed to still rake in royalties from his music, has continued to send cash. Glitter's songs are understood to be blacklisted on all UK radio stations, but it was reported in 2015 that US stations still play them, which could have been banking him up to pound $250,000 a year. And in 2013, the same year, it was said he pocketed pound $300,000 after his music featured in a trailer for Oscar-nominated Silver Linings Playbook. He is also believed approached for a chat. Eudania, 46, said she would consult with London first. The next day, despite him being convicted of child sex offences in jurisdictions across the world, Eudania still maintains Glitter is innocent. "Everything they write about him is lies, that's why he is where he is," she said angrily. Many people have come. Glitter U, who already had son Paul and daughter Sarah from his failed marriage to Anne Murden, met former farm girl Eudania when she was 21 and living in Sagua La Grande, in the Cuban countryside. The small city was notorious for bars where children could be bought for as little as pound $60 a night for sex. Glitter returned to. It was said at the time that she even traveled to the UK to be with him when he returned to answer bail. Upon his release after his first conviction in 1999 when he got 4 months for downloading 4,000 items of child abuse, including images of kids believed to be as young as 2 Glitter spent the next decade trying to keep a low profile, moving from one sex exploitation hotspot to the next. It was during his final stay in Cuba in 2000 that he fathered Gary U before having to flee. Since Gary turned, her second-floor apartment in a converted villa is a stone's throw away from Havana's Seafront Boulevard, the Malecon, and the U.S. Embassy. Sitting next to a derelict building in the capital's Vedado area, the well-kept property stands out in crumbling streets. Although it is in a relatively privileged location, many locals clearly struggle to get by. And Eudania and Gary's quality of life is a sharp contrast. Gary is an amateur tattoo artist who has a number of inkings himself, including a large Spider-Man design on his left calf. He often spends. Other times, he takes his skateboard to a local park and spends hours doing tricks. He was spotted wearing Adidas trainers and a cap from American skater brand Supreme. Eudania, also jobless, spends her days watching the world go by from her balcony. But when she goes out to gossip with neighbors or visit relatives, she wears gold jewelry. Close family friend Felipe Peraza Cabrera, 55, said glitter still helps the family out from England. Eudania and Gary, the young Gary does tattoos. People go to the Eudania has still got glitter stuck in her heart. She is currently glitter, jailed in 2015, is serving his time at HMP The Verne, a Category C jail exclusively for sex offenders on the Isle of Portland in Dorset. His surroundings are said to be cushy, with lags allowed to walk around their wing freely, 24 hours a day.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.